welcome back to my channel and welcome if you are new. This video is going to be my weeks 19 and 20 pregnancy update. So I am doing my pregnancy updates for baby number 2, this baby, every 2 weeks because I do have a 1-year-old who is constantly keeping me busy, and I figured I may as well just go ahead and do it every 2 weeks rather than every week, just to make sure that I am staying on top of my updates, because it is harder to stay on top of things like this when you have a toddler running around. So welcome again. I hope you guys enjoy, and if you are in this stage of your pregnancy, I hope that you find this video helpful. I'm basically just going to be sharing my experience as far as symptoms, cravings, just everything that has happened during these 2 weeks, and I hope that it gives you some insight as to what my experience has been like and what you can possibly expect from weeks 19 and 20 as well. So again, if you're new and you enjoy videos like this or anything related to pregnancy, motherhood, home and family, or just overall lifestyle videos, then be sure to stick around and hit that red subscribe button. I make videos 3 times a week on all kinds of different things. We are getting ready to move, so I have been doing a decluttering mini series, and that has been a huge task for me. But for today, we're going to focus on my pregnancy. And like I mentioned, this is baby number 2. We found out what this baby is, so I will be sharing that in this video. If you did miss our gender reveal, if you wanted to go watch that first, then go ahead and jump over to the gender reveal video. I will link it down in the description box below if you're interested, and then you can hop back over to this video. But I will be talking about that in this video, so if you're not sure yet, and if you don't know what we're having, then pause this video and go watch the gender reveal first. So for those of you that already know what we're having, we are super excited to be having a little baby boy. As you know, we are so excited. Oh my gosh, you guys, we're gonna have one of each. It's so exciting. We are still struggling with names. So many of you guys have given us such amazing name suggestions over on Instagram and in the comments of some of our previous videos as well. And it's funny because a lot of the ones that you guys have mentioned are on our baby names list. And we have a couple, I would say 2 or 3 that we're really kind of looking at, but we just don't know for sure yet. I felt like when we were having our little girl, I had tons of baby names that I absolutely loved for her. And we did make a baby names list for boys at that time as well, but we didn't need to use any of those names. But now that I'm actually trying to name a baby boy, it has proven to be very difficult. So we are still working on baby names, but I will be talking about baby names probably that we won't be using, but that we love later on. And I may even do a reactions video to all of the baby names that you guys have suggested with my hubby. So I think that would be fun. He hasn't seen any of the names, but then we can kind of share with you guys kind of names that we really like, as well as ones that we might not be able to use for certain reasons. Maybe we know someone who has that name or has a child that is named that, or maybe it's in our family already. So that I think would be a fun video. Let me know down in the comments below if that is something that you guys would like to see, and I can definitely do that. So let's go ahead and dive into my 19 and 20 week update. I'm gonna go ahead and start with my belly shot. I just wanna switch it up a little bit and make it interesting for you guys. So let's go ahead and jump over to my 20-week belly. All right, so here's my belly from the front and the side. So you can definitely tell I'm starting to show more. I feel very thick around the midsection. I love it so much, and baby boy is just a growing. So I am currently 20 weeks pregnant. I have a couple of days left. I will be 21 weeks on Tuesday. So I will be over halfway through this pregnancy, which is just mind-blowing. It is going by so quickly. The baby is now the size of a banana. So little baby boy, it's the size of a banana. So cute, I love it. And one thing that I do like to look at on my Ovia app is, oh my gosh, you guys, like look at this picture that I just took of Eliana though this morning. Oh my gosh, so cute. I did put that on Instagram, so if you didn't see it, so cute, I love it. Okay, she just looks like a little toddler, right? So I'm gonna pull up my Ovia app and share with you something that is so cute. So it shows you on this app how big the baby's hand would be if you were to see it in person. So that is how big the baby's hand is compared to what a full-grown size hand would look like, or a full-term baby's hand. And then it shows you the little foot as well. Like, how cute is that? So that's kind of just nice to be able to give us a picture as to where the baby is size-wise. It's always hard with the fruits and vegetables because I feel like some weeks are bigger than others. And so it's just interesting, but it's hard to kind of gauge the baby's size. So I really like that on the app. But we had some exciting things happen over these past 2 weeks. So during week 19, we did our gender predictions video, and we did find out that this little baby is a baby boy. So we had our gender reveal, which I'll talk a little bit more about in just a moment. And then during week 20, we did have our anatomy scan. So I will be sharing some footage from that as well, and just talk about kind of how that experience was, because it was definitely different than what it was with Eliana, our first little one, because of everything happening with this pandemic right now. My hubby wasn't able to be there, so we'll get into that in a moment. But I'm gonna start with baby's development at this stage. I'm using just my What to Expect book. I usually look at my app as well, and I have been looking at it more recently, but this is just short and sweet, honestly, you guys. So I'm just gonna keep it short and sweet because I do tend to talk a lot and ramble. So over these past couple of weeks, the baby has developed vernix, which is that white cheesy-like substance that is all over their skin. It does protect their skin while in the womb. So that has happened this week. And let's see. Oh, see, this says week 20, baby the size of a small cantaloupe. That, to me, is a lot different than a banana. I guess lengthwise, that's about right. I don't know. Let's see. It says that baby is about 10 ounces, which I'll mention it again when we talk about my 20-week anatomy scan. My little one is 13 ounces, so he is a little bit above average. And it says that if you're having a boy, the descent has begun. I'll just leave it at that. It says more, but use your imagination, because I don't want to get this video flagged for something silly like that. So anyway, that is what is happening this week and what happened last week. So now I'm just gonna jump over to my pregnancy journal, which is this right here. Each baby has their own individual one, and I have just been logging everything in it. It's really nice just to have a journal, somewhere to write everything down, symptoms, cravings, doctor's appointments, just all of the stats of the baby week by week. And I really do like comparing it to my first pregnancy, or my first little one rather, because it's just interesting to see the differences and the similarities in both. So during week 19, like I said, we had our gender reveal, which was so sweet and just so exciting. I was a little nervous because our families weren't able to be here, and I was nervous that we weren't going to get to share that experience with them and have everyone be excited in the same way. You know, it ended up working out absolutely perfectly. We did a Zoom call, and our families had jumped on, and they were able to see the reveal live. 3, 2, 1.
It's a boy! It looks white at first.
We just kept it very intimate, very simple with just our families. It was just so exciting to find out live with our immediate family and just find out that this is a little baby boy. So now that we know the gender, we are really able to start focusing on names. Like I said, we are still struggling with names, but there are a few that really stick out to us that we really love. And it's hard, and I will say this though, because if you guys, I know a lot of you guys have thrown out some name suggestions, and they are so cute. But one of the hard things that we are running into is, number one, I want all of my kids to have their own initials. So we are not looking for another E name because we already have Eliana and her name starts with an E. I already picked out my girl name, or one of them, for a future baby, for a future little girl that starts with an A. So I want to save that name for future. Also, a lot of baby boy names end with the letter N, and our last name starts with the letter N. So when you say the first and last names together, it sounds totally different. So for example, if we were to name our little boy Mason, Chaz really likes the name Mason. If we were to name our little boy Mason, it would flow weird with our last name because it ends with the letter N. So anyway, just little things like that. I'm probably way too picky, but because he will be a man and he won't be changing his last name in the future by getting married, we have to think about those things. So It's silly, I know, but we've been trying to do like the Starbucks tests and the, calling them from their room tests and things like that. But anyway, we're struggling a little bit. But there are still some names that end with the letter N that we love. So we're not ruling it out completely. It just is making it a little bit harder. Okay, back to gender reveal. So the gender reveal was super exciting. I had a feeling that this might be a boy. At the beginning of my pregnancy, I had really strong cravings and then they kind of went away. But after we did our Old Wives gender predictions tests, I really thought this could be a boy. And the reason for that is because most of the answers or most of the predictions were opposite. So with Eliana's pregnancy, everything pointed to boy and she was a girl. In this pregnancy, pretty much everything pointed to girl and it was a boy. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, a lot of the things are different in this pregnancy than in Eliana's. Even though I physically feel very similar, I feel like I have it pretty easy, knock on wood, as far as right now goes. I hope it stays that way. But all of those signs pointed to girl and it ended up being a boy. So I kind of thought that it might be because of the acne, the dry skin, dry hair, things like that I didn't have with Eliana kind of pointed me in that direction. So either way, we would have been super excited, but I am so happy to be having a little boy. I think he's just gonna be a mama's boy and I cannot wait. So this week, the only symptom that I had really for both weeks was heartburn. I had a ton of heartburn with Eliana. She came out with a head full of hair, so I'm assuming that if that old wives' tale is true, that this little one will come out with a full head of hair as well. But the heartburn has definitely started. And as far as cravings go, pretty much like it's been after the first trimester, I haven't had any real cravings. I've been just really wanting, I don't know, I've been eating pretty healthy actually. I haven't had any weird cravings whatsoever, which is really strange. I was expecting to have some cravings, something, but not really. And then during week 20 was such an exciting week. So like I said, we had our anatomy scan, but before I get into that, I do want to share that my husband felt the baby move for the very first time. Oh my gosh, he has been moving so much, you guys. Like this little one is active. I don't know if it's because this is my second time around, where I'm feeling the baby move. Maybe I'm just in tune with my body more this time around. I don't know, but I did find out that I have an anterior placenta again, which I did have with Eliana. Originally, I was like, there's no way I have an anterior placenta this time. I feel him so much. And I was starting to actually see itty bitty movements, which I did not see that at all with Eliana this early. I think the very first time I felt her move was at 20 weeks. And with this baby, it was at 14 to 15 weeks. So much earlier. I know that's typical in subsequent pregnancies, but at the same time, I felt like he is just way more active. I mean, already. Is that just a boy thing? I don't know. But Chaz did feel him move and it was just so cute. And I love that because then he is able to kind of have that connection like I'm able to have regularly. So that just made my heart happy. And like I mentioned, I had my 20-week anatomy scan. It was a bit different because my husband was not able to go due to everything happening right now. There is a no visitor policy, so it was the patient only that was allowed, which is totally understandable. Luckily, they allowed me to film a little bit for you guys, or just for us, for my husband really, because he wasn't able to be there. So I am grateful for that. But it was so just strange and kind of eerie going in because I haven't gone anywhere like that since this whole thing started. But going into a medical clinic, they have the big stop signs out asking all of these questions, hand sanitizer, telling you to put on your mask if you have had any of these symptoms, and just, the whole 9 yards, I'm sure you guys know. But then all of the chairs were at least 6 feet apart, probably 10. Everyone was just totally spread out. Luckily, there were only 3 or 4 other ladies there, so we were completely separated. All of the healthcare professionals were wearing masks, of course, and I did bring a scarf. They didn't actually make us wear masks, which I thought they were going to, but it probably just depends on maybe how many people are there. I'm not really sure. But first and foremost, I just want to say thank you. If you are a healthcare worker, thank you so much for what you're doing right now. It is beyond appreciated by all of us. I mean, we would not be able to have these things done without you and your help, and you guys still being in the workplace and just taking care of everybody else. So thank you guys so much for that. But it definitely was just a strange, eerie feeling. Everyone was doing their part, but it just was kind of strange, you know, not having my husband there and everything. So anyway, we went back. I have only gained 6 pounds in this pregnancy, and I did look back at Eliana's, which by the way, I have not been monitoring it at all. I don't think I've stepped on the scale, I think maybe one time in the first trimester, and I haven't done it since then. So I have not been logging my weight like I did with Eliana. I don't know why, you guys. It's just not important. As long as I'm eating well and moving my body and staying hydrated and taking my prenatals, all of the things, I'm not worried about it. If my baby is healthy and growing, that's all that matters. So I am not keeping track really. I probably will a little bit more towards the end of the 3rd trimester just because I want to make sure that I'm staying within the healthy weight gain range. But I've gained 6 pounds up to this point, and with Eliana I had already gained 12. So that is interesting because this is a boy and she was a girl. It could be due to the fact that I'm starting out this pregnancy heavier than I was with her. Again, doesn't matter. I'm healthy, baby's healthy, we're good to go. But it is interesting. So I can't help but compare because I look back at my journals and I'm like, oh, that's interesting, you know? So I kind of imagined that I would be heavier this time around because this is a boy, but it's actually the opposite. So during my anatomy scan, the technician went ahead and did the scan first, and then she allowed me to film a little bit after. So I'll insert some footage here, but baby boy is 13 ounces and he is actually measuring 4 days ahead. So he is measuring 20 weeks, 4 days, and I was 20 weeks on the day that I went. So that was the first day of my 20th week is when I went to my appointment. He is in the 86th percentile and he is just as healthy as can be. She did confirm that he is a boy. So, I mean, you know, he had all his parts and everything, and he is just super healthy. He has all of his limbs. It was so cute to see his toes. His legs were already up over his head, or like curled up like that, and he just looked so big. You guys, I haven't seen him in an ultrasound since 8 weeks, 6 days, which was my very first appointment. So going from 8 weeks to 20 weeks was huge, seeing the difference in that ultrasound. This time around, I did not get that 12-week scan like I did with Eliana. So I didn't get to look at the skull and nub theory. I didn't get that. And so in our announcement pictures, he is just a teeny tiny little blurred out speck, like a little bean. He was so tiny at that appointment, and so he has grown. He's almost a pound, you guys. Oh my goodness. So that is pretty much it for these 2 weeks, you guys. Heartburn was my only symptom, no cravings, baby is healthy and growing, and we found out that he's a boy. So that is everything that has happened these 2 weeks. We are super excited to decide on a name, hopefully here soon, because I want to start kind of getting some plans in order when we move, you guys, because our move has been pushed back. And I will do, I don't know, maybe I'll do like a moving update video for you guys because I have so many questions about that. But it has been pushed back about a month. So originally we were supposed to be leaving here in about 3 weeks, and now it's gonna probably be closer to the end of June, even maybe beginning of July. And yes, we are still moving. I'll cover that in a different video, but I will be heavily pregnant at that time. So I'm a little nervous, and when we get up to where we're moving to, you guys, like I'm gonna be right around the corner from giving birth pretty much. So it's gonna be kind of stressful, but I want everything ready to go. Name, nursery plans, that way I can just knock it out before he's here. Hopefully, we'll see how I'm waddling around. But that's the plan anyway. So I want to make sure that everything is decided ahead of time, and that way I have a little bit of time to kind of build some things up over these next couple of months before we leave, and that way everything's kind of put together as soon as we move in, because he will be here before we know it. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's update. If you did, please give this video a big thumbs up, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!